Bukola Azo. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. That means you can all hear me. Good morning, Sadatu. Good morning, Amala Okore. Yeah, thank you, Sadatu. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Good morning, Dada Dokas. Nice having you in the house this morning. And like every other family meetings, we're going to be having a good time, and we're going to be having powerful learnings. We're going to take home interesting learnings, and I just want to encourage us to be open-minded, because that is the major thing. We need to be open-minded so that whatever we are talking about here, you are able to take it and you check your method, you try to compare and see. We're also not saying everything, we are not saying that everything we mention here is the best, because like we said last week, parenting is an individual thing. We just encourage you to be open-minded and listen to the perspective we have to share. We are sharing these perspectives because we understand the generation we are dealing with. And this is why we are doing this. So once again, good morning and welcome to Family Meeting August edition. It's so amazing how August just speed, you know, and we are on the 28th of August already. So if I want to ask, how has it been with you? Anybody want to share? How has the year been with you? We're families, you know, and pleasantries are allowed. So how has 2021 been with you? Anybody want to share? For me, 2021 has been a time of learning, and learning. It's as if the more you grow older, you begin to have different experiences, and these are your realities that you need to pay attention to. So it's been a wonderful ride for me, and I hope it's been like that for you too. If you want to drop your experience in the chat box, that's also fine. But I would appreciate that you unmute yourself and share your experience for 2021 with us. Yes, the bridge, you want to say something? Please feel free. Please, let's feel free to share our mind, to give us your learnings for the month of August, while we try to wait for others that are joining us. One of the speakers here in the house, Amina Yunus Ali, is here. We are waiting for Ebuka. We are waiting for Ebuka Ede. I'm going to chat him up now. So Ebuka will be coming in, and he's not going to stay long because he has a TED Talk this morning. He's presenting at one of the TED Talks. I guess that's why he's not joining, and the TED Talk actually starts at 9. So it's really a privilege and an honor to have him saying that he's going to join us. So we'll wait for him a little, and we start. So can we start when it is 9:12 or 9:15, or do you want us to start now? I, at the same time, don't want to waste your time, and I don't want people that are just joining to say, so do we have to wait? We joined earlier. So please, your opinion. What do you think? Do you want us to start? Okay, so I just got a message from Ebuka now, so he's going to join us now. Hey, mommy's in the house. What do you think? Or am I the only one here? Can you hear me? Can you all hear me, please? Okay, Sadatu said we should wait a little, but because of our time, Ebuka is here. I think we should I think we should just kickstart. So, like we always say that family meeting, this group of families coming together every last Saturday of the month, we are a group of people that believe that we need to raise our children differently so that our future can be secured. We see these people as trailblazers. We see them as the ones that will take over Africa and bring us to the promised land. That's the way we see this. We see the children that has been placed in our hands. And we might not be able to do that excellently well if we choose to continue with the old method that is not empowering. If you're going to agree with me, we have said it over time on this platform, how that our upbringing has a way of making us not fulfilling purpose or making us not expressing the whole that God has put inside us. And so this is what we are trying to do with this group. We are a tribe of people that want to make a change in the way we are raising the gifts that God has given us, and that's our children. And we believe that there are new rules to parenting. And this is why we are always here every last Saturday of the month to talk, to deliberate, and to share with one another the experiences and how to go about it. And so far, we have been getting positive feedbacks for people that needed counseling. We have had, in fact, this last week has been a very serious one, probably because the children are on holidays. The buzzing, the chats, the calls have been so overwhelming. And the stories, I don't understand. It seems as if the stories are becoming worse by the day. But we are different, and so we want to have it different. We want to live our life differently. Beginning of this month, we had summer school, and we had like 30-something children in the house, and we allowed them we allowed them to be open-minded, and we got to hear a lot of things from these children. And I keep wondering, how are we going to sustain these talents? How are we going to sustain this gift? These children are seeing things in different ways. And so we need to learn the new rules of parenting so that we can parent these children and help them fulfill their purpose. I was speaking with the parents this last week, and I was asking her that, do you remember that at some point you were also this smart and intelligent at age 5, at age 9? And the way you were thinking is different from the way the adults were seeing it. But as time goes on, you began to tell yourself, this is reality, or they were telling you this is reality. You better face reality. You are not in America, you are here. And this is what has sabotaged that gift, that talent, that potential that God has put into us. The truth of the matter is the potential of, human potential is limitless. And there's a need for us to tap into all these potentials and make good use of it. But if we're going to be having children that are mute, children that are not going to talk, then you don't know what's in their mind. I want us to also know that these children are Generation Z and Generation Alpha. They are different from Generation X and Generation Y. These ones are very assertive. These ones are ready to say it as it is. And if you want to slap your opinions on them, then you will see that they will keep quiet. And this is why we are here. We are here to talk about how not to slap our opinion on them. They are so free. They want to air their opinion. And if they see that what you're telling them is not strong enough, or it's not giving good results, they will prefer to follow the one that they see outside that is giving them good results. And we need to help them to balance this. We all know that the social media is the social marker right now, and we don't want the social media to snatch our children. So we have Ebuka in the house. Like I said, Ebuka will be leaving us very soon because he has a TED Talk, and he also has a TV interview after this class, and so we need to run. Ebuka is into boys development and youth mentoring, and this is why we have called him, so that we will hear his perspective from the male child point. He does this through mentoring, coaching, and training them in life, leadership, and purpose, and also by acting as their parent partner. He sees to the total development of boys and advocates for their well-being. He has certificates in emotional intelligence and organization leadership. For over a decade, Ebuka has taught boys, teenagers, and youth in a unique, practical, and humorous way to learn personal responsibility and self-leadership. If you go on social media, you will see the fantastic job that Ebuka is doing with the boys. He is a speaker at a youth conference, seminars, schools, and parent platform. He also offers consultancy services for individuals and families. He is an author, and I can add to it that he's a TED Talk speaker. So that's the new one. That's the new feather is adding to his cap. Now, Ebuka, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, Ebuka. Thank you for joining us once again. How are you doing?
So much. I'm doing great. Doing great. God is faithful. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. So not wasting much time, we want to start. So we also have Amina. Amina was in the house the last meeting. I believe you still remember that powerful experience with Amina. Somebody chatted me up and said, wow, Amina is so deep. And that's the truth. Amina is deep. And Amina is a certified performance consultant and a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, which affords her the competence to use therapeutic tools to help clients identify and heal unresolved childhood traumas, grief processing, and many psychological roadblocks hindering a healthy lifestyle. She is an associate practitioner with the Institute of Family Systems Engineering and Development and a member of Family Systems Engineering Professionals. Amina's passion is creating and participating in programs that pronounce the joy and enrichment one can only find in connecting with the awesome power of God and developing the beautiful essence bestowed within. This is the foundation of our life's journey, with emphasis on helping teenagers and their families appreciate the uniqueness of the adolescent period and how to adult beautifully. She continues to directly impact the lives of over 100 teenagers annually through coaching, seminars, and creative workshop programs. So if you agree with me with the profile of those two people, they work with teenagers. So they have heard these people talk. And so they are the ones that can really tell us what is it that our children are hiding from us. So we went to a school recently and the woman said, see, I don't understand. By the time my child was entering JS1, she was very vocal. When she gets back from school, she tells us everything that is happening. But at some point, they discovered that the girl just went mute. Girl stopped talking. And you know, when they asked her, she does not talk. She said nothing. And the mommy says, I will ask her that I heard something like this happened in your school. And she said, really, mommy, nothing happened. And the truth of the matter is she was aware. So what happened? That means something happened along the line. And this is what we want to pay attention to so that we will not lose these children. By the time they are keeping quiet, then they are listening to somebody outside. And this is why we are here to say that we need to know those things that our children are going through and the reason why they are keeping quiet. So I have Ebuka with me. Ebuka, so you have interacted with quite a number of boys from the rich and the poor, middle class and all. What are those things? So briefly, just tell us some of those things they are telling you that you know that they are not telling their parents.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much again for having me. Thank you. Amina, it's nice connecting with you. Great work you're doing. All right.
Thank you very much, Ebuka.
All right. Okay, our first.
I follow you on Instagram, so you know.
Oh, really? I don't know.
I see the powerful work. Yeah, I see the powerful work you're doing.
Thank you so much. Please send me a chat after this on Instagram so that we can keep following each other and learning from one another. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so one of the things that begin to happen to young people, especially at puberty, teenagers and pre-teenagers, is that they begin to see the opinions of their peers as more important than that of their parents. One of the things you begin to see with them at puberty is that they begin to, take solace in the company of their friends rather than their families. Something just begin to make them feel that the company of their friends, is more important. That's why you see a teenager or a boy or a girl who loves the family so much. When he's 5, 6, 7, he wants to be at home. But as they begin to transit, into teenagers going through puberty, they are more excited going out to parties where their friends are. That's why I see a child who the father is my hero, my mother is this. As they begin to transit, they begin to want to listen to their parents rather than their parents. These changes sometimes happen at puberty because their mind becomes curious. They want to explore. They want to understand. There are so many questions they have that their friends, their peers are always ready and open to answering these questions and listening to them. So we begin to notice those changes. So it's always a time where parents need to be skillful in helping them open up. They need to be skillful in listening even to what they have to say at that time. Because there are a lot of questions in their hearts. They are asking questions that parents are not able to answer. Sometimes the parents shut them down. That's why you see a child that is expressive at 5 become, closed up at 13 because they are asking questions that parents don't seem to answer. Or when they even see the facial expressions of parents, they are not even able to ask some certain questions. And I tell you, in our time, there are questions from the internet to the music videos, to the programs, to everything happening around. They are asking questions of life, of doctrine, of trends, of emotions, of sexuality. He hasn't deep questions about sexuality. And that's what I've seen over time. People ask me, why do these boys so free talking with you? Because when I'm talking with my boys, I can talk about anything. We talk about sex, we talk about erection. My mentees we are so close that when they're having, erection and it's so serious, they can call me. When they're having orgy, they can call me. Say, sir, daddy, how far the thing is worrying me. Because we have come to a point where we can talk about anything. That affection, that connection have been built over time, skillfully and intentionally. When I'm talking with them, I don't talk like somebody who is perfect. I share my mistakes, I share my stories. We connect, I let everybody, it's not done in a way that's okay. This morning, family meet, everybody come together, come and tell me what is going on with you. That era has passed. They want to speak to you in little corners, in times. I think there are times that we even connect with your children. Sometimes they are seemingly, not very, very official time. Maybe they are washing plates, maybe they are playing football, maybe they are doing something, you are just helping them do that and you start talking. Maybe they are watching a movie and you are sitting there and you start talking. Sometimes they don't talk in a very formal setting, very informal, and you are just helping them and they begin to chat. So as I begin to work with boys and young people, I see that they are having deep issues they are not talking about. A lot of them are not talking to us about their sexuality. For me, I've worked with boys who are sexually disoriented, and their sexual orientation have been distorted. A lot of them, their parents are not aware. Most boys are walking through the journey of healing in that area. Most of their parents are not aware because I've had the case that some of them are struggling with pornography and masturbation. And they can't talk to us. A lot of the people in my circle are not able to talk. I have a case that the boy opened up to the father and the father beat him. I even sent him out of the house. And I asked, oh, really? So by sending him out of the house now, he has been free from pornography. So they have deep issues. They're struggling. Oh, I'm having feeling for a boy, I'm a boy. And they can't talk to you because you tell them, oh, the winch in my family house have finally landed on you. The village people, they've killed me. Some parents will collapse and roll on the floor and scream and call all the aunties and uncles in the village. And the child sees you that you're crazy. Something is wrong with you. I'm telling you the way I'm feeling. All I need is a conversation. What is going on? So many of them have different social media handles. They can't give you their real social media handle. And that's what I've seen with teenagers. The one that is the name that you gave them, they have it. And they give you that social media handle. But they have different social media handle with different names that you can never decode that is the name of your children. And I've seen this trend with teenagers and young people, and they do all manner of things there. But you think, oh, my child is a American one on Facebook, and he's so holy. Well, he has another one, maybe called crazy. deep questions they want to talk to you about their crushes. They want to tell you that, yes, they're having feelings. And you can't expect a 15 years or 14 years not to have crushes, not to have feelings for the opposite sex. Sometimes I tell parents, do you want your children to act unnatural? Some of these things are natural behaviors and feelings that will happen at puberty. They'll have an erection at puberty. They'll have feelings at puberty. They will want to explore things at puberty. They have energy for the boys. The testosterone level is so high at puberty, and they are jumping everywhere. They want to do all of that. And I ask, do you want them to act unnatural? Why are you scared that they are feeling the way they should that is natural? It's just to help them to be guided on what to do, that, oh, this is normal, but this is what you should do. Oh, these feelings are normal, but this is what you should do. Nocturnal emission is normal, this is what I've seen boys at 15 and 16, nobody have had sex conversation with them. Nobody. And they are just lying on what they saw on the internet and what is going on. So there are deep issues that our children are going through, and they can't talk to us about it because there's no environment where they can connect to talk. There's no, most of us, there's always this hit and run situation we are doing. There's no connection. You can only influence your child by connecting. And when that connection is not there, and you've not been able to influence and connect deeply, they can't share those deep issues with you. They're asking their parents who only answer at their level. They're asking the internet. And sorry, the internet has not done us so well. For example, I have children struggling with masturbation, and they say, oh, they recommend for them to always masturbate 3 times a week on the internet. There are internet doctors that tell them to do that. So it's crazy. And so when there's no connection for you to discuss with your children about this, they go and ask the internet that tell them that it's good, it's healthy for the boys to keep masturbating, or it's healthy. What the internet is even teaching now is not even abstinence, it's consent. Once there's consent between you and the other person, then you can have sex. When there's no connection, they have deep questions in that area or in that regard, but they are not able to ask. So with time, let me allow the other speaker to also talk. With time, I'll share practical examples of what I've seen in this area and stories that I've also had in my sphere. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ebuka. That was so deep. And I hope we are all listening. And it's just unfortunate, of course, one of those things that we always say, that we have only mommies in the house. I wish we have daddies. So mommies, if daddy is still around, they have not gone out, please tell them to come and sit with you so that they can listen to this. That was so deep, Ebuka. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us on this platform. So, Amina, I'm going to allow you coming in another perspective, with another question. So we are saying that when they were 5 years old, they were the ones that wanted to talk. And in fact, we get tired of it. I know your daughter, she's a chatterbox. And so there are times that we want to get tired, and all of a sudden they keep quiet. And we are also saying that this generation, they want to express themselves. Why is it that parents, why is it difficult for parents of this generation to pay attention to the changes? Ebuka was talking the other time, he said, at some point you see them and all of a sudden they just stop. So as a parent, why is it that you didn't notice, we are not noticing those changes? And why is it that I don't know how well to put this question, but what's the problem? Why is it difficult for us to pay attention to that need and to that transition? What's the problem?
Okay, hello everybody, good morning. Thank you very much for having me again, everyone. So why is it difficult for us to notice the change? Number one, it's the fact that we have also been conditioned to just see certain things the way we want to see them, or the way we assume that they are the appropriate way to see them. So when we notice something different, we easily assume, because of course it's something that we have not been exposed to ourselves, or we've been conditioned to talk down against. So it is easy for us to also begin to shout, like Rebecca said. I really enjoyed this speech, by the way. So, it's very easy for us to either shut down or to actually pretend that those things are not existing. Because how dare I say that I'm an Elijah, for instance, and my child is suddenly paying attention to pornography or paying attention to sexuality and everything after all the Arabic classes she's gone or anything? Or how dare I say that I'm a pastor and my son is actually drinking and smoking and is interested in hanging out with the boys at the club? Because these are the things that we feel. We think that their life is about us. So it's pretty difficult for us to understand that transition. And if we continue to think that everything they do is about us, we'll continue to miss those silent points of what they really want to tell us. They want to tell us that they are afraid. I once worked with, I think, a 17-year-old, and one of the things that he told me was the first session that we ever had together, and he said, I don't understand why they're asking me to come and see you, because really, our parents spend the first 10 years of our lives asking us to work. And then we begin to work, then they ask us to sit down. What's the meaning? As in you can imagine how deep that question is. Because it's not just talking about working in the very esoteric terms, but he's talking about working in the very deep connection terms, in terms of, okay, so you asked me to do things, to meet people, to be friends with people, and then I begin to do that. And now you're telling me that my friends are not good enough. You're telling me that what I'm watching on TV is not good enough. You're giving me, so we give them the wrong feedback. We instruct instead of inform. We continue to label instead of connect. We continue to judge instead of connect. We continue to make them feel less than. And of course, if that is the way we continue to do, they will look for alternative ways to feel among. And I dare say, how many parents here has ever experienced that situation where you don't want to do something, but your friends are like doing it? Maybe you want to buy an Ashwebi, for instance, or you don't want to buy an Ashwebi. It's too expensive for your budget at that time. But all your friends or all your family members are buying it. And you feel like, if I don't buy it, I'll be the only one not wearing the Ashwebi. So you go ahead and buy it. It's exactly the same feeling that our teenagers are experiencing. They don't want to feel left out. They don't want to feel like they're the sore thumb on the hand. They don't want to feel like they're the ones that, and if we are continuously telling them no, no, no at home, they're going to look for peers who is going to make them feel yes, and make them feel connected, and make them feel loved, and make them feel seen. So that is actually the issue here. So when parents are telling you that they are not noticing, or they don't know where the changes started, what they're actually saying is that they weren't paying attention enough, or they were so consumed by what they wanted that they were not seeing what the teenagers themselves wanted. They're also saying that, well, this is the way I have been trained, so why can't my own child, accept that kind of training? But really, really, if we ask ourselves, how many of us really in this room right now, did they have one kind of crush or the other in secondary school? How many? We did. So why do we think that our children's lives are different? Why do we find it difficult to relate with them, knowing what we've been through? It may have been ages ago, but the point is the feelings are still mutual. Certain things still remain the same. We live in a co-ed world. We are all together. So the basic things, the basic feelings will still continue to exist. No matter how the differences of generation is there, those things are still, they still exist. So the point is, before you approach your teenager or talk to your teenager about certain things, you have to ask yourself, how did I feel when I was this age? What did I do? And who did I wish I had contact with? Or who did I wish I could speak with? Did I wish to actually speak with my parents, or did I wish to speak with a friend? And if you can clearly answer that, then you will know that sometimes you need to be more of a friend than a parent, and sometimes you need to be more of a coach, a counselor, than being the monster, say no all the time kind of parents that a lot of these teenagers are exposed to. Because really, truly, the teenagers I've worked with in the last couple of years, they really want to talk to their parents. They really wish they can connect with them. They really wish that they can pour out their hearts without you going hellfire and brimstone on them. They really wish that they can tell you that I noticed the guy. And you don't go like, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid. How old are you? Because they are humans. First and foremost, they are humans. They are not you, they're not me. They're their own person, living their own journey. And you have to be able to relate with them on that part. Okay, so that's what I have to say about that question.
Whoa. Thank you so much. Thank you, Amina. So two things I picked from this, that we have been conditioned to do what we are doing, and that's denial aspect. That denial aspect, I think, is the big one here. You know, Amina talked about connecting with the children, and Ebuka also mentioned connecting with the children. The two of them talked about the fact that we are giving them a wrong feedback. So are you thinking about it now, that what are the feedbacks that you're giving your children? And when we talk about connecting, like I said, this generation Z and generation Alpha, that's from age 22 downwards. The two of them fall in that category. I think generation Alpha is from age 10 downwards, while generation Z is from age 22 to like 11. And these people, like I said, they have their truth. They know everybody. They understand everything that is happening. And that's why they are able to use all the methods they are using. Have you heard a child ask a question like, with all these prayers, what is happening? Is God that wicked? Why are we still praying that God should bless us? God should bless us. God should bless us every time. Why are we saying that? You know, these are the realities. These are the things. And if you are not skilled, I think it was Ebuka that mentioned that we need to have the skill to respond to some of those questions. If you are not, that means you're confusing them. They don't want to be confused. They are seeing something different. You know, I said something about if what you are teaching them is not strong enough, and if it is not superior enough to what they are seeing outside, then they will query it. They will not take it. So when a child comes to meet you to say that, Mommy, it is the same prayer point that we have been praying. Are you sure this God thing is working? It's not because the devil has taken over. No, it is because that is what she's seeing. So I went somewhere last week I went to speak in a church last week, and one of the parents said her daughter just came on and said, Mommy, I think I'm tired of being a female. I think I want to change my gender. You know, I think the girl is like 10 years old or something. And she just said it, that she's tired of being a girl. She wants to change her gender. And the woman was like, hey, this, that. I said, Madam, you need to calm down. So over the week, I told her to bring the girl. And the girl said, Mom, sorry, ma'am, is it bad? People are doing it. And I said, my dear, it's not bad. But why? I want to know the reason why you want to change. And I discovered that this girl is just starting menstruation. And the stress of menstruation is killing her. And that's one other thing I've noticed about them. They don't have threshold for pain. And so because she felt, so this is how I'll be feeling every month throughout my life, I don't think I want to go through this pain. And she felt changing gender should be the best the best option here. You know, that's the way they think. And so if you don't have the right skill, like Ebuka said, if you don't have the right words, like Ebuka said, you are going to miss it. And you feel you want to slap. No, God created you. God did this. Even God wants you to respond in a better way. My people perish for lack of knowledge. What are the information? Are you adding to the knowledge or to the information you have? Or you're holding on to the past information that you have? And the understanding they used in the 18th century is not applicable in this century. We're in the 21st century. It cannot work. And so there's a need for us to get skilled and get the right information. So I want to ask Ebuka, what should our parental response be to some of those things? How do you think we need to go about it?
Thank you so much. I like what you said about the girl who said she was tired of being a female. And like I said to so many parents, these are questions that teenagers are asking. And even those people who are cross-dressers and transgender, should be a lot of our parents are following them on social media, liking them, hailing them, collecting some parents are even collecting their giveaways. and then you tell your children not to be one, and they have millions of followers and making money, telling you they bought Benz today and this tomorrow. And some of us parents, those people are our own fans, we are their fans and role models. So when we celebrate them and follow them, and then some of us, you don't want your child to now become one. Sometimes these intrigues are really, it's just funny. So that's just by the way, but who are you even following as a parent, and what do you condone? And then why are you telling your child not to be the same thing? So it goes back to us even as parents, and then back to even music videos. I was taking time to study some of the lyrics of some of these trending musics, and it was really horrible to see what they were talking about. There are two trending musics now that is so horrible. So horrible. I don't know whether I'm at liberty to mention some of them. Their lyrics are deadly. And some of our parents will dance them, our children dance them. We don't even know what the lyrics are saying. I studied some of their lyrics last week, and it's just terrible. There's no way a child will keep listening to that and not start struggling with all manner of things. Thank you very much, Amina. You said very profound things when you spoke. I tell parents, one of the reasons why you didn't jump down and become a parent, God allowed you to also be a child, a pre-teenager, a teenager, to being an adult, so that because he's also going to bring children who will go through the same process. So you first understand what that process means, how you will feel, so that when you have children, you will know how they will also feel at that time. So sometimes we act as if we were never children or never teenagers. You have felt the infirmity of being a teenager. You have felt the infirmity of being a child or an adolescent. So you can understand. If I ask some of us also wrote love letters. You had crushes. Some of us also sneaked out to go and greet one boy in the night. Some of us also had our own cliques of girls, maybe cool girls association. So you first became a teenager and you understood those intrigues. So when your children I'm surprised that sometimes when our children are expressing that, we are shocked. Some of us also danced and went for parties without the consent of our parents. As these things happen, but it's just for us to now know, okay, it's more deadly at this time. How do we connect? Just this morning before I came into this session, one of my mentees called me and said, oh, Daddy, I met one, I saw one girl last night. Wow, and we have the same temperament. Wow, she's so cool. I said, really? You've known her temperament just for this one night that you met her? But why could we call me and tell me? Because we are so connected that they can go out and say, oh, Daddy, I met this girl, I saw this girl last night. Where she's so, I say, good, oh, that's fine. How far now? How is she? And what's it? Let me see her picture. Or you know her social media. We start talking from there and we start talking. For every one of them, I know what they like in a girl. So that's why I walk and say, she's fair, but she's slim. I know you like slim one. Don't worry. And we're going to have the conversation. Very simple conversation. I remind, you remember the other one that you like and you couldn't sleep for 1 week. How far that one is gone now? They will laugh and say, wow, really? God, no, and I'll keep giving series and stories. I say, this one too will come and go. It just shows the puberty. You will like another one tomorrow. Crushes upon crushes. Will you now come and kill yourself? I cannot come and kill myself, I beg. What is it? We have conversations and we could talk about it. And they could say, oh, this crush has stayed for. Someone say, this crush has lingered for 3 weeks, for 4 weeks, for 2 months. How far that day? And we could keep having that conversations and we are talking until they're able to come out of that zone. So your question, okay, I think the network threw her out. So asking, how do we have this conversation? What should be our response? There was a mother that closed down her business and her work because she caught the boy watching pornography and masturbating. And you close down the whole work you are doing to come and stay at home and you are watching him. Oh, he's going into the toilet. I give you 1 minute. Don't lock your door. You are just, I say you have high blood pressure over nothing. You will have high blood pressure over nothing. And then later the boy had to go back to school. I said, will you follow him back to school now and be watching him when he's coming out from the class, going to the toilet or moving around people? That's not a good response. We are just reacting. Some of us are just fighting. Some parents are having you're just sick over nothing. Over something that will come and go. It just kill. And what is my response? How do we respond? I say respond skillfully. No matter what the child say, Respond skillfully. The time you should be talking about sex conversation is not when you heard that one girl is pregnant or somebody did abortion and died. It should be a daily conversation. How far? Any feeling? This time you have these feelings. So if anything happen, let me know. When they tell you, smile, laugh. Let them see your response is such that they can come and tell you over and over and over again. And I want to tell you, you don't have all the answers. Some of them may tell them, okay, can we talk to coach? Or can you talk to this person? Because you don't have all the answers as a parent. Sincerely, even me parenting my own children, I don't have all the answers. I tell them, if there's somebody you also really, really admire, you can always connect with, you don't have all the answers. You can tell them, okay, this is what you should do. Oh, me too, this thing happened to me. Oh, and share your own stories, even when you made mistakes. And this was how I overcame. Oh, have those discussions in, maybe you're jogging. Oh, can we jog together? Or you're cooking. You're doing something nice, or you're eating you're having popcorn. Just bring up the conversation. Oh, this is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do. These things will come and go. These things will happen as a teenager. This is what you should do. People who don't do the right thing, they make these mistakes, and it can lead to this and that. You share stories, share your own life stories of your friends, and you're talking, you are smiling in a very cool atmosphere, and you are conversing. The child is getting it deeply. When the conversation is done in an environment of love and understanding, the child picks what you're saying. But when it's done, oh, no, Holy Ghost fire, you can't do that. Oh, some people will say, oh, Jesus, he said we should be taking our children to church. I said, Jesus also went fishing with his disciples. They could lean on his shoulder and do amebo and talk about it. I said, so even though we are saying we are Christians and want to do it, or we are Muslims like that, what about the God we serve? Is somebody we can come to that can connect with us so deeply, intimately. Jesus went fishing with his disciples. They can lean on his shoulder. They can talk. They can talk about anything. So why are you not bringing all of that into your own mentoring, coaching, and parenting? All of that is holistic, and no stone should be left unturned. The prodigal son could come back to the parents and say, oh, this is what I did. I'm so sorry. And the father received him. As some parents, is your family, is your house, does it have such atmosphere of love that no matter how far your son or daughter has gone, he or she can still come back, and you receive and continue from where you stopped and move on? That prodigal son never remained the same. I'm sure his life was transformed. What if the father was such that he could never have gone back to talk to him? He would rather die than go back. I've seen some teenagers say, let me die a drug addict and go back. Let me die in this than go back to my father. I've seen people who say, I hate my father, and the greatest thing I want to see in this life is to kill that man. Let him just die. I've seen teenagers say this over and over. I've seen people deep in drugs. And I tell parents, you see our teenagers on the streets, it's not because they want to be on the street. Some of them, the therapy you need is just attention. They've lost a connection and attention at home, and the people in the streets are filling them up. And I say, drug addicts, cultists, they are one of the most committed. They will gather all the money they have. They won't give you, but they can use it and smoke and drink. They have you have their shoulders anytime they can talk. So most of them we see is just a disconnection at home. The attention that have not been given, and the street is ready to give them that attention. It's just simple connection, skill in talking, in conversing, knowing what to do. Read books. I have a lot of books here on parenting. Boys, teenagers, I read. Skill, how do you do it? I read, I learn, I understand them. I do courses. This year I've done 2 courses on coaching, mentoring teenagers, boys, and young people. And I'm learning every day, and I know how to converse. I know the trending things. Before they even talk about it, I tell them, this is what is trending. This is the challenge that is trending. This is the music trending. This is what is happening. We could talk about it. I know the trending drugs. I read, I learn. I know the trending celebrity. And we have those conversations, and we bring it. In football, what I'm learning now is football. Who is this? Who is that? So when you are bringing this conversation before them, even before they ask, they know, oh, you know about it, and they're excited to talk. Once that atmosphere of talking, of connection is created, then they can come back and tell you other things going on, because they know mommy understands my time. Some parents say, God forbid, I don't want to be on Instagram. It's so distracting. Better go and see what is happening with young people so that you can know how to connect, or the conversation to have with your children. It's just skill, like your parents, skill. And some things that we are dying and clean ourselves on. They are just simple skill that you'd have done, something you'd have done differently, a conversation you'd have done differently, instead of screaming, yelling. And when you start yelling, what happens? They close up. They begin to lose their self-esteem. They begin to get into themselves. And they're not talking again. And the next you are shouting, you're not talking, you're not talking. But when they were talking, you're the one that shut them down. And that's why a child that has been expressive, that grows and become shut in because we keep shutting them down, shutting them. And to their subconscious, they feel, oh, all my mother wants me to do is to keep quiet and keep shut. And when your child stops talking to you, that's the beginning of problem. I tell parents, as far as that teenager can still talk to you, then there is a lot of hope. Skill in connecting, skill, simple skills, not difficult, not family meeting of, oh, today, 1 hour, yeah, tell me what has happening, who touched you, who is this? It's not in those family meetings. It's in simple connection as a wash place, as a mop, as a jog, as you take them to their school for their party, you are talking, you are conversing. Once that connection is created, then they can come back knowing there's already a platform. Some of them cannot come back because no platform has been created for conversation. What platform are you creating? How conducive is your home? What's the atmosphere of love that can help your child come back even when he has strayed? Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you, Ebuka. That was a powerful one.
Yes. In fact, I wanted to talk about the film called Nimbe. I just saw somebody talked about it. In fact, they had my academy, at the Boys Academy that just finished. I told every parent to go and watch Nimbe. I recommended, and I still keep recommending to every parent, go and watch Nimbe. You see how a very intelligent boy, just because of being shut in and how he lost everything, is very key. Some people have been asking me to mention the names of those songs. If I have your permission, I will mention that there's this anime. I don't know how many of you know anime. Anime is animation. It's animation for children. A lot of them are doing the animation, and it's very good. And one of the things I've seen about the pornographic industry is that they've gone to put a lot of these things in things that children, use every day. So that anime app is an animation app that almost all our teenagers are using, but it has a porn side of it. So they come and learn animation, but yes, I know anime. Anime is dangerous, and I've seen a lot of young people who have been lured into pornography through anime. They have animation pornography, and it's really, really trending. One of the things that happened in the pandemic, because children were doing a lot of online classes, was there was a spike in pornography. Child pornography, the pornography industry released a lot of that, and they went to put those pop-ups in sites that children go to learn. So they're watching a YouTube video, they know that children go to this site for educational resources, and then there's a lot of pop-ups, and that's how so many children were lured into pornography during the pandemic through online learning. It was strategic, it was planned, and I had good cases as low as 9, 10, 11 on pornography. And all of them keep saying, I saw a pop-up while I was in class. I saw a pop-up and I clicked and I saw pornography. I saw somebody twerking, and that's how I started watching it. So we must be very sensitive. If I get your permission, I can talk about those songs, but I want to get the permission before I do that.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
So Ebuka, before you talk about the songs, I'm sure some of the parents also know those songs, because when you go for birthday parties, those songs they play. And you see they are playing these songs, and you are telling those children to shake and dance very well. These are the subtle things that we need to pay attention to. So you can mention those songs, please.
Let me start from the most common one that most of us do. I'm sure most of us know Soapy by Naira Marley. Soapy is just a song that teaches masturbation. If you listen to lyrics, if you look at the lyrics of Soapy, it's just talking about masturbation. And Soapy means soap. It's just teaching boys how to use soap to masturbate. So do Soapy, use Soapy. And if you also watch the dance style of Soapy, you will see them dancing like this, doing their hand like this. Soapy, Soapy. So the dance step also demonstrated how they should masturbate. So if the dance step of Naira Marley was doing his hand like this, that is holding his penis and masturbating like this. That was the dance step for Soapy. Terrible. Then there's a recent song he wrote, I'm Coming. Is it I'm Coming? I'm Coming. And that song is C-O-M-I-N-G. I'm coming. You think he's talking about him coming, but the song is talking about coming. C-U-M-I-N-G. That is coming, means to ejaculate. So all the song was talking about is about sex and ejaculation. So it's a trending song now with young people. But most parents don't even know what the lyrics are about. Go and check the lyrics. So I'm coming is talking about a man and a woman, a man ejaculating. So we're just talking about sex, dirty sex, do it everywhere. The song was telling you people, anywhere you see, do it, coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. It's the trending song. Some of you have sang this song, but you don't know what it means. I'm trying to remember the verse. Then there's another song by Rema called Soundgasm. The song is just talking about orgasm, how people reach orgasm in sex. And it was teaching young people to be crazy about sex, and get to orgasm. We sing it, we don't know. The song Bounce. Bounce is talking about sex, so erotic, so dirty. There's a recent artist, a lot of them listening to, I've forgotten his name. He was dancing with the devil at the music, and he was dancing with a naked man. It's a very common name among, and once you mention it, they will tell you the name. Some of you just ask your children, who was the artist that danced with the devil? They will tell you, and they will tell you his song. So bad. And what I noticed that when Sophie came out and when some of these songs came out, I started handling more issues on pornography and masturbation. Because as they kept listening to it, these erotic songs, they want to practice what they heard. Over time, they are just used to, they want to get that orgasm, they want to come, or they want to do soapy. That is, the soapy use soap to masturbate. We don't know what is going on. Really, it's a strategy and it's a difficult time. We must be sensitive. We will not just follow everything hook, line, and sinker. We must be sensitive to teach, to learn, and to connect, and to help our children. But if God not their children, don't listen to that, because that's what they're written in every party, everywhere you go to. God will give you wisdom. Thank you. Let me stop here.
Ebuka ended with God will give us wisdom. God will really give us wisdom. But to me, God has actually given us the wisdom.
He has given us, so
we just need to
borrow sense now.
Yes, and stop denying the reality of the things that are happening. You know, when Ebuka was talking, he talked about dialogue. You need to be connected, still connection. Dialogue with them, learn from them, pay attention to what they are saying. That is the way you can win them. They have lost connection from home, and all they need, you will be surprised, all they need is love and attention. They just need you to let them agree with them that, oh yeah, I see. Oh, okay. So when Ebuka was talking about the fact that some of us went through it when we were growing up and we're not paying attention to it, I started asking myself, so when we were going through it, how did you come out of it? Because the how also determine if you actually got the learning from it. Is it that time and chance happened to you and you just forgot about and you did not learn anything from it? So Amina, so without talking too much, Ebuka will soon be leaving the house. Please, if you have any question for Ebuka, just drop it in the chat box. And Ebuka, you give us like 5 minutes to answer any question. But before, as we wait for those
problem. It's raining heavily, so I can't even step out now. So maybe the rain came because of you people. So
oh, good. You see that, right? So Amina, I want you to see that there are these 7 pillars. I can't remember. I think I can remember family, social media, politics, spirituality. I don't know if you can help me out, Amina. So these 7 pillars, we need to pay attention to them. We call them systems intelligence. We need to be intelligent and we need to design our own structure on how to. So when we say evil is prevailing. Entertainment, yes, entertainment is part of it. Evil is prevailing and we sit there, we are complaining. What are we doing about it? What are we supposed to do? So what are the responses? How can we respond? When I started, I said, these children are gifted. Humans' potentials are limitless. And so it means we all have all those things. Can we limit ourselves to academics alone? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to respond? Thank you, Amina.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Okay, so while Ebuka was talking, something.
Yeah. No, I was just saying somebody dropped the.
Okay, so while Ebuka was talking
in the chat box, so you can see. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So while Ebuka was talking, one of the things that came to my mind is that, especially when I was mentioning the music, is that it's even so bad that I can't put on the radio station early in the morning anymore. Because while the news is going on and they want to take a music break, they take a music break to a really non-child friendly music. So it's that bad. I'm driving my child to school and we're coming back from school, and it's really annoying that there doesn't seem to be a safe space, except maybe you decide that, okay, there are certain CDs that you want to buy. So when you talk about how do we respond to all this, I think uh, the first thing is actually understanding that school our children belong to. We will be the first friends that they have. We will be the first teachers that they have. We will be the first coaches that they have. We'll be the first medical doctor. That is why a lot of some parents will go for to learn medical first aid once they begin to have children, because once there is an emergency, you want to be able to respond to it. Now, when you know that you need to have medical first aid when you start having children, know that you also need to have emotional first aid when you start having children. You cannot resort to the way you were parented. And unfortunately, too many of us are living the trauma of how we were parented. Too many of us have actually absorbed the energy, the anger, the fear that our parents have used to parent us and absorbed it into our own system. And before you know it, your child is doing something and you're like, I will slap you out. You are already reacting. So it is until you unlearn, actually, like you really, really want what the most important school that is not existing in the world is actually parenting school. Until you unlearn all those traumas, until you actually walk through your own traumatic parenting, how you were parented traumatically, you will continue to make the same mistake. And that is why we have generational trauma. The cycle of trauma revisiting from one generation to the other. Until you begin to identify that this is the kind of values that I want for my family, and as in really visualize it. How do you want your child to come home from school? I was in a shop one day, and this girl was coming back from school, and she ran into the shop. I said, "Mommy!" She's about 11 or 12, and I was like, "Oh, did you travel?" I asked the lady. I said, "Did you travel?" But she said, "No. This is the way my daughter was in every day since she was a baby to come and hug me when she comes back from school." And I was like, "This is really intentional." Because you've created that ambience. And even though she was answering me, the customer, she took time out to say, "Hi, how are you? And how was school today?" She said it in Yoruba. "How was school, Lainey? How was school today? What did you do? Did you eat? Did you finish your food?" It took her all of 20 seconds to make sure that that child had that attention. The child is 11, remember. But it took a lot of 20 seconds to make sure that that child had undivided attention. And this is the intentionality behind that child always running into the shop every time she's coming back from school into her mother's arms, because she knows that that arm will always be there to receive her. But with us, we are coming back from work. The first thing we notice is the table that was left unpacked. It is the dishes in the kitchen that was left unwashed. It is the socks and the bags that was left everywhere. How will a child feel comfortable to come into that home? So until we begin to recognize that it is us, we create the energy in the house, we create what these children will look forward to in the family, then we would not get the response that we need. They will continue to hide their true self from us. And what these children are saying when they're saying, oh, you ask them to go and read their books and they're saying they are tired. What they're actually saying is, I'm not tired, but I don't know how to engage these books because maybe it's difficult. Maybe because I've tried to read it and it's just not sinking in. I taught my niece how to, like, okay, you know what? Try reading the book like a novel. If you don't, if it's not working, record it into a sound, into your phone, into your smartphone, and then hear your voice again. And that's what she started practicing. And then it sunk in and it helped her in her work. For us as parents, one of the things that even I had to unlearn was that I was parented into, like, when exam is coming, oh, yeah, all the hairs on your head is standing up. You're afraid if your child is going to pass, if the child is going to disgrace you, and you're making everything hard. In fact, once I realized that that was the way that was the way it was almost coming up to me when exam was coming, I had to tell myself, no. I took my daughter out to first day of exam. I just took her out for ice cream. I didn't even ask her if there was anything going on because I had to unlearn that exams are not a do or die affair. Exams are just a test of knowledge. And the minute you begin to understand the meaning behind every what is working and what is not working. So those are the things that we can begin to respond with. Because guess what? The world is far gone. We can't change the world until we begin to change ourselves. There's a popular actor in the Hollywood who says his children until they are 18, they don't watch any of his movie until they are 18, any of his movie. They don't go, and these children, they've mastered it so much that even if they're going to have a cinema day, this actor picks the kind of movies that they can watch. This is the same actor that would act pornographically on the scene. But look at the signs in that, because they also know the damage that this is causing. They also recognize what they are doing. So when the child is 18, then you are free to do whatever it is you want with your life. But then they had a system that is working for them in their family, and it's still working. What about you? You can't say something with one mouth and then be doing another thing with another eye. If you don't want your children to listen to this loud music, why are you putting it on? Why are you listening to them? If you don't want your children to drink alcohol until they are 18, why do you have it in the house? Or why do you ask your children? I was in the shop one day and a boy, most likely he's maybe 15, and he came to buy a big bottle of beer. And I asked him, who sent you this? He said, my uncle is outside. Whether the uncle is outside or not, I don't know. But that is it. If you don't want them to take alcohol, why do you have it lying around? If you don't want them to smoke, why do you do it? If you don't want them to be exposed to the idiosyncrasies of the world, what are you giving them as an alternative? How are you making the home comfortable for them to come into? Because it is either this or that. So what are you choosing? That's my answer. Before I get overly emotional.
Everything here is becoming emotional already. Please, I quickly want to plug in. So it's becoming emotional already. I quickly want to plug in my laptop, but before then, I want to say that it's just funny, all those things. Amina is hitting something on the head, which I know that Ebuka also mentioned, and that is, how did you form your belief systems around all those things that you have believed? For example, she mentioned the examination. I remember that even me, I had this phobia about SS3, that transition between SS3 to the university. Not because I failed my WAEC, but because I didn't reach the cutoff for JAMB. And so I had to stay at home for 7 years because I wanted to study medicine. And I kept writing JAMB year in, year out. And unconsciously, I just saw that transition as a very difficult period. And so when my daughter entered SS1, going to SS2, SS2 going to SS3, I started projecting that fear. And she was resisting it. But at some point, she became confused. And I had to call myself, so what are you doing? You're projecting fear of entering university into this girl. And I had to pipe low. Not until I did that, before she could, because she just became destabilized, and she could not even grasp all she was reading because I'd already pumped in fear. And this is how it started. This is how we start. And so we need to learn how we should understand the beliefs we have around those things. Are those beliefs? So what is culture? It's a way of life of a group of people at a particular time in a particular place. That means culture can outlive itself. When those beliefs are not working again, we should change our belief system about those things. I mean, I just want to, so I said we should drop our questions. Any question for Ebuka so far? Okay, people are saying thank you and all. So I think it was Ebuka that said we need to design our safe place. How do we design our safe place? Or what do you mean by safe place? What do you think we can, so I want the two of you to respond to that question. Yes, thank you. Do we have Ebuka first? Ebuka, can we have you go first? Thank you.
How do we design our safe place? Is that the question?
Yes, that's the question.
Okay. First of all, we have to be intentional about that, and also understand that we need a safe place for our children. I tell parents, you cannot fight a battle you're not aware of. Meanwhile, I mean, that was really profound. I really also felt so emotional. You know, a lot of things are going on, and sometimes you really wonder, how do we grapple through all of this? And even we as parents, as parents, read. You're not reading. You don't read. But as parents, you, as a child, even see you picked up a book to read. You know, you always come back late. When you come back at 11, be careful of the kind of friends you keep. But our children see the kind of friends that we also keep. Some of them is just to come and gossip.
So true.
They see us, they're wondering, why is my parents telling me to do what they themselves have not done? And I've seen children who say, my mother takes alcohol and is telling me not to take alcohol. I've seen children say, my mother is just going to church. I hate when I see my mother in church because I know the life she lives. So we are telling them to do something that they've not seen us do, and they're wondering, how is that possible? Because they learn by modeling, they learn by seeing us. So how can I keep bad friends, stop following bad friends, when I know the friends you are keeping, when I know what you are doing? You know, you're in a dilemma. They can't understand why you're asking them to do what they cannot do. How do we create this safe space? And I say, do we even know that we need a safe space? Are we even aware of the battle that we are fighting? We cannot fight a battle we are now aware of, and we cannot win battles we are not prepared for. Do we even know we need that safe space? Do you know that children need it? How do we build that? And I say it's intentional. You have to be intentional about that, and you have to be skillful about building those safe space. You know, understanding that every child is different. The way my child A learns is different from the way this other person learns. And I always tell parents that have a boy and a girl, I tell them, your daughter, I tell the mothers, your son is not your second husband. I tell fathers, your daughter is not your second wife. Because when there's this, and begins to grow, the mother begins to see that his son as the younger version of the husband, and there's a connection. You now see a click between the mother and the father, and on the mother. You know, the mother and the son, and then another click between the father and the daughter. Everything the daughter does is fine for the father, but whatever the son does is evil. Everything the daughter does is evil for the mother. Whatever the son does is good. Because you are transferring that love you have for your husband to your son, and the one you have for your wife to your daughter. And there's a faction. Every child is different. Every child is unique. That child A is so intelligent, and child B does not mean he's less. If child B likes drawing, why not help him learn, understand his learning style, and help him thrive through what he can do best, through ways he can release that energy. So in building that safe space, you must understand that the way your daughter connects is different from the way your son connects. If your daughter can go to sit down with you and just gist and you're talking, your son may not be able to do that. Maybe your son connects better when you're taking a walk or when you're playing football and you're talking. If your daughter connects better when you're in the kitchen cooking, your son may not connect that way. So you need to understand the temperament of your son, his learning styles of your son, of your daughter, to be able to connect and create a space where they can come in at that time. So when you've known your daughter or your son that, oh, this is the way he likes learning, this is the way she likes learning, this is the way she likes connecting, she's a visual learner, this is an intrinsic learner, you know, then you begin to learn and connect with them through that space. Knowing that, oh, he likes doing this, okay, let's go for this, and then we're able to talk. When they're in that place where they can learn, then they're in that vulnerable position where they can open up to you. So creating a safe space means understanding your son, understanding your daughter, and helping them connect at that level through which they can learn and share learning with you also. So understand them, learn them, and be skillful. Read books. about connecting with teenagers. Whether it's a boy again, there are books for girls, there are books for boys. Every gender is different, and you're able to understand what is peculiar to this gender at that time, and you are able to connect with them at that level. So creating this space, I tell parents, sometimes it needs to be very informal. Some parents like to do things very, very formal. And when teenagers begin to, get into that age, they don't like formal things. They are not used to routine. One of the things that young people in puberty don't like is routine. Doing something over and over the same way again and again. You are creative. When even in the morning devotion, today you are creative. You're talking about stories. Next day you're taking another thematic area. You're creative. If you are doing something over, they get fed up with routines. So you're creative in connecting. You're creative in bringing conversation. And so both of you know that, we can talk about anything at any time. When we take a walk, when we go for ice cream, when we go for popcorn, when we go to the cinema. You just know that because you have created that space, and they know that we can always talk when we are driving to the mall or to going for shopping. So first, understand your child learning style, connect with them at that level. Know that every child is different, whether it's a boy or a girl, they are unique. The way this person wants to connect with you is different from the way the other person wants to connect with you. And you're intentional to create that space of bring that conversation. And then now know what area does my child like in having this conversation, how often can we have it? And they always bring them in that area, being skillful, being creative. And as time goes on, there's no hard and fast rule to this. You just begin to understand your child and you know how to flow at a certain time. But first, be intentional, understand them, and connect with them at their level and at that space. Thank you very much.
Intentionality. We should be intentional about everything we do. They don't like monotony, so we need to be creative. Profound one there. Thank you so much. I was reading what we have in the chat box, and I see parents giving us the ideas of what goes on in their own family. That's a beautiful one. Well done, and thank you for what you are doing. Oluwaseun, thank you so much for being vulnerable with us, telling us how that you stopped taking alcohol when you stumbled on your 15-year-old. Thank you so much. And with all that we have been talking about, Ebuka kept saying that we need to learn, we need to be intentional. And if you are, this kind of thing, this skills does not jump on us. You need to learn it. And where you are paying attention, there are a lot of group on Facebook, a lot of group that people are also projecting their pain. And Amina said something about healing from our own trauma. And if we don't heal from our own, you see a lot of groups on Facebook people projecting their own pain. And people are, yes, that's the method. And you go home and you practice that method. You are on your own. We at the family meeting level, we already have packages, we already have trainings that you can attend. We have the family system engineering, we have the new rules of parenting. I dropped the link already in the chat box. Then we have the singles program coming on. So if you have any single around you, you want them to understand that by the time, it's not about the party. After the party, that is when marriage starts. And so they need to learn. So in the singles class, healing will take place. We'll teach them how they had been wrongly parented and how they should prepare to parent their own children, talking about intentionality. We have all that in our organization. We have the new rules of parenting coming up in October. The singles class, I think, starts today or tomorrow. If you're interested, you can reach out to us and we'll give you a discount. The new rules of parenting is a wonderful class I will want you to attend. It is loaded. You will also experience your healing process because we do healing before we now go into the teaching. So Amina, I want you to answer that question. How do we design our safe place? Thank you.
Okay, so for me, it's I think the first thing is to understand what makes us safe as parents. So that actually helps you to design your own values. What values would you espouse to get your safe space? And then for teenagers especially is to ask constructively without criticizing. Because what teenagers want is a way to feel like they belong to something. And if you keep telling them you make them feel like less than. You're consistently projecting the fact that they're still a child to them. But if you remember that being a teenager is actually a transition period, you're neither a child nor an adult. So what could make you feel safe in that period is actually that sense of belonging, that sense of, oh, yes, this person gets me, right? Oh, they don't have all the answers, but at least they can listen to me. So you should ask your teenager what actually makes them safe. Because a lot of them have a lot to say. And sometimes what they say is a lot of words, but you pick up one or two things that is their fear. The minute you can identify what a teenager is afraid of, for some of them, it is that they are afraid of being neglected. For some, it is they are afraid of being shouted down at. For some, it is the fact that they don't want to feel like they don't belong to anything, or that they are neglected, or they are outcasted by their peers. The minute you can identify a teenager's safe space, that is when you can actually be a teenager's fear. That is when you can actually begin to create a safe space, because you are actually building with a platform for them, a space for them to come back to and say, no matter what the troubles out there is, no matter how they make you feel outside, once you get back home, you are accepted, you are seen, you are valued, you are loved. And when they have that, of course, there is no human being that doesn't want that. The major reason we had a lot of more domestic violence and what is it called issues during the lockdown was because so many of us we've taken to hiding into our work, and our children have now learned how to hide in school because there's no peace at home. But if you want to create a safe space at home, first deal with your own demons, conquer those ones, and then begin to make sure that, because safe space is also an energy, it's not just a place. It's also an energy. It's the energy you bring into the house. It's how you make people feel when they are with you. It's how you talk to people in a tone of respect. And see, let me not lie, every teenager wants respect. The minute you begin to shout on a teenager and say, is your head correct? Or are you okay? Is it me that you're talking to? Mommy, calm down. You yourself, wait. If somebody talks to you like that, would you like it? They are human beings with feelings, with emotions, and they are growing into adults. So first respect them the way you also want to be respected. Model that thing for them, model that energy for them. And then we can begin to talk about, okay, how well they would, respond to you as well. So for me, safe space is the energy that you bring into the conversations, into your home, the energy with which you meet your children, whether they are 2, 12, or 20, the energy with which you envision your lifestyle to be, and then begin to live that.
Interesting. Interesting. So I want feedback in the chat box. How has it been? How is the meeting going? Are we gaining anything? Are we on point, or we are just yarning? Okay, so Amina said safe place. You can't give a safe place if you don't understand what your children's need. And she said something when she said, teenage is not just what they arrive at. It was a transition. So for those of you that still have Generation Alpha, lucky you, because you can work on your method. You can work on how to befriend and connect with them. And this is what we are talking about. If you still have children below that age of teenage, you're still very lucky. You can still create that rapport. You can still create that connection. You can start changing how you relate. The last new rules of parenting, a parent was telling us how that he got to a point the daughter just said, Mommy, what happened? You have changed. You know, you have changed. Mommy, what happened? And she just laughed and said, so what do you think about it? Is it that you like it or you don't like it? And the child said, oh, I love this new you. You know, that kind of a thing. So if the woman in her ordinary said me, in my ordinary self, I will slap her. What do you mean I've changed? Who are you to tell me that I have changed, you know? And we need to understand the needs of those children so that we'll know how to create that safe space around them. She said, safe space is the energy we are creating around them. What energy are you projecting? What energy? Because that energy will determine if they will open up to you or they will close up to you. You know, during the lockdown, we discovered that some of the teenagers, you know, we had to give them phones, tablets, laptop, and all. And we discovered that some of the teenagers, when it is around 1 a.m., middle of the night, and around 4 a.m., they do all sorts of things. They put on their status, you see all kind of pictures. They were engaged in truth or dare during that time, where they will say that, so I dare you to put the picture of your boobs on the status. I dare you to put the picture of your nakedness on the status, you know. And so between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., that was what they were doing. But immediately it is 4:30 going to 5, they change it to the Lord is good, you know, the things you want to see. And they changed it. So he was funny that Press Forward now had to chat one of them up. You know, we're following the sequence and he had to chat one of them. What's happening? Why are you people doing this? And he said, because at 5 o'clock, mommy has woken up, daddy has woken up, and they are already having their phone with them. And so they tend to unconsciously come to their status and they see what we have on our status, you know. So we have to give them what they want. And so that means they are hiding a lot. So we have a lot of terrible things going on, things going on. And we don't want our children to be involved because we know that if they get, I was telling in the last speaking engagement I went for, I said prevention is cheaper than responding. Responding is so expensive, very expensive.
And it is long and it is hard.
And it is long. It is long. A woman, right now I'm working with a 22-year-old girl. She's not responding yet, but the woman will chat me in the morning, chat me in the midnight, you know. You will see that she's in pain. You will see that she's in pain. The girl now leaves the house without telling them where she's going, and she just comes back any day she likes, and she tells them, so why are you monitoring me? Why are you asking me questions? When I was asking questions, you were not answering me. Now you are asking me questions, you want me to give you a feedback. It's not possible. And this is the kind of damage we do to these children. The truth of the matter is we are the one doing it. And that is why we need to learn and pay attention to how we are parenting. Thank you so much, Amina and Ebuka. It's been so wonderful. Ebuka, I'm happy it is raining. I want to believe it's still raining in Abuja. And so I want to read what we have in the chat box. Ebuka, is it still raining?
Yes, but I'll soon jump out. So I'm waiting for it to release me.
Okay, so thank you so much. And I really thank God for the rain also, because we have been able to enjoy you at the meeting this month. Okay, so Ebuka, I want you to give us your last words while I read the things we have in the chat box. So what do you have for us? What do you have? Your last words.
I always tell parents there is hope. We are going to pull through. Because I tell parents, just parent from a place of knowledge, not fear. Because I've seen where people even parenting from a place of, you know, fear, parenting from a place of fear, they are scared. And when you are scared, you do a lot of wrong things. And even when you gather knowledge, you still need skills. If not, you now go, some people go to their children and say, oh, I learned that this today, everything in your bag, bring it out. You now start monitoring people, you know, and trying to kill yourself. Knowledge should guide you right, you know, and there's hope. We can pull through. And I tell parents, no matter what your child is going through, don't give up. The person can still find his or her way back. Don't give up. Refuse to let go. Keep fighting the place of, because what I'm dealing with in this time is sometimes some of them are beyond the physical. You are praying and you are so skillful. You are doing all you can, you are learning, no matter how the damage. I don't think we would have gotten to that of the prodigal son, but he still came back and he still became somebody even in the family. So the child can still return. No matter what he or she is going through, don't kill yourself, just do the right thing. And I believe God, and I trust that whatever for parents here who are struggling, God will grant you peace, God will restore. Just do your part, be open. If it's beyond, you can look for a coach. That I have a lot of boys in my personal mentoring session, but my bookings are even full till October, so I can't even take any in now. You can look for a coach that will help your son or your daughter. Seek help when need be. But there's healing and you can be helped. So you can reach me on my social media handle on Save the Boys Initiative, on any social media handle. We are very active. On my personal handle on Instagram, Ebuka_boys coach. Ebuka_boys coach. I think that's one of the easiest places to reach me. On my Facebook, Ebuka Obika. I may not receive requests if you don't call me personally, because I have so many of them I can't take all, because I think this space is almost full already. So on Instagram, you can follow me, Ebuka_boys coach. We can talk, and though my schedules are tight, but if you need me to help in any way, you need to talk to me, you can just send me a chat on Instagram. If I don't answer today, I'll answer tomorrow. And thank you so much for having me. It's always beautiful being here, and I pray I have a space again to come back. It's been an amazing work. I respect Sir Praise for Wowe so much. I really admire him, and I love the great work he's doing. My love to him and everyone in the family. You people are doing an amazing work. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you so much, Ebuka. That's a very beautiful time with you this morning. And so before
so
Ebuka,
it means I don't have any question.
Well, we have questions in the chat box, and they are from Amina. We'll take them.
Oh, that's fine.
But before Ebuka leaves, can we all please release our video so that we can snap? Let's snap with the speaker now. Okay, I want to see your faces. If you are camera enabled, can we see your faces?
Amina, I'll look for you on Instagram. Well done. Great connecting with you.
Same here.
Yeah, can I see your faces, please? Let's snap picture with Ebuka before we leave. Okay, are we here? Are we ready? Thank you, those of you that have enabled your camera. Thank you so much, Ebuka. Nice having you around. We'll hook up later. Okay, so we have some questions in the chat box. Amina, I want you to please respond to this. Somebody said, how do we deal with parents that don't know how to read and write, knowing fully well that they are part of our society and our children meet with their children? The other one says that, do you know of any healthy supervised teenage hub? I know Amina has a hub. I know Amina does something like that. So you might want to, so Amina does parenting partner, Ebuka does parenting partner. So I think you can. So Amina, so I wanted to respond to that question.
Okay, so fantastic question, really, if you ask me, because what we are looking at are people, who just allow their children to be, because, well, education seems to be a luxury for them at that point. What you can do is to actually engage them, is to talk with them, speak the language that they understand. When I was working with an NGO, one of the things I saw was that, okay, so we had a spike in children being abused, sexually abused, especially girls, in a particular school. And we went to their houses, spoke with their parents, and they're like, well, one of the parents actually told me, I said, well, this child I have seen, I gave birth to her when I was 14. So there's only so little that I can do. So I had to take her through a process where I asked her that, is it possible? Like, she's going to secondary school. What if she found a benefactor who could take her through university and could actually, she becomes a medical doctor, or she becomes somebody that you are absolutely proud of? Wouldn't that stop you? Because she sells Canada. She sells all those local herbs by the roadside. And how do you think your life will change? And she started mentioning things that she wanted for her life, what she had planned for herself because before she became pregnant and everything. And I said, do you know it's possible for this child? Is it possible for us to actually make this child's life better? And she said, yes. And the child, she stopped asking the child to come with her to the roadside to sell those local herbs with beer and stuff like that. And that is it. I think engaging them, actually seeing them as humans, making them feel like, it's possible, like Ebika said, anybody, the prodigal son can always come back home, and anybody can come back home and change the cycle of poverty in their family. So not knowing how to read or write is just one of, factors. There are other factors because the human factor is also geared towards success. If you can help them realize that and help them understand how to link their child's experiences to that success, they would make better choices for themselves, for their children. By the time I left that NGO, I think the child's mother changed from selling those local herbs into selling stationaries, which of course reduced all those men that were sexually assaulting the young girl. So you can imagine that transformation, that it is the choices that we make that informs the life that we live. So the minute she stopped selling those local herbs, the minute her life choices for the girl, the life experience for the girl actually changed. And the possibilities for success increased magnificently. So, we need to engage those people and talk to them in the language that they understand. Because even that conductor that you see on the road, they didn't start out at the age of 5 wanting to be a conductor, but the life choices of the parents around them, of the adults around them, informed their life experiences. So let's help people make better choices, and that's the way we should start from. As per the hub, yes, I run Kindness Circle. It's a place where teenagers from 13 to 17 actually meet every month, and we talk about different things. We've talked about last month, we talked about mapping the future. This month, that is tomorrow, we're talking about conflict and how to manage conflicts. We've talked about sex, we've talked about so many things I can't even begin to remember. And the thing is, in this hub, I listen because I have to be present to navigate their conversation so that we don't have those people that will just come and be dropping bombshells upon bombshells for the teenagers. But I just listen and I navigate the conversation and allow the teenagers to talk. Because one of the things that I realized is that teenagers want a space where they can express themselves the way they want and they feel listened to. And at the end of it, I not give them questions that actually helps them think that could there be a better way for them to approach some of those experiences that they had? And then they come back with like some of them, just last month, someone was like, I hope this continues, because we run it from February to November. And she was like, she's going to miss December. And I said, yes. She was like, I hope we start the very early next year. I said, don't worry, that we'll start that. Because of course, what they've gotten from that space is that they have a means to talk about themselves, how they feel about topics, and how they can actually, express without feeling judged or anything like that. So yes, Kind of Circle works every last month of the month, every last Sunday of the month between 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. Mr. Bold, I'll just drop my contact and you can let me know if you want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think that's better. Just drop your contact or your social media handle. So there's another question there that says, I'm aware of the pillars of influence, which is almost out of one's control. How can one navigate through? How can we navigate through the pillars of influence?
So influence also is about understanding what the future is going to look like. So influence is like those when you're trying to connect, when you have a flow chart, those arrows that kind of just pinpoint you towards the the end, the end that you want. So that is what it is. So for me, it's like imagining if your child is 30, how do you want that child to come and visit you? Do you want that child to come cap in hand and say, Mommy, I'm sorry? Or do you want that child to come and say, Mommy, I haven't seen you in the last 1 week. How are you doing? Or do you want that child to come and, to surprise you with a visit, a cruise, So it's basically beginning with the end in mind and then installing the possibility, the exposure lines, installing those possible parenting partners for you. This is one of your parenting partners. Attending this family meeting is one of the parenting partners. Going to workshops and seminars is one of your parenting partnership processes. It's one of those influences. A lot of parents spend so much in trying to work on the children without working on themselves. You are the first line of influence for these children. Okay, so before you go to a counselor or to a coach, just ask the most crucial question. How have I contributed to this problem that we are experiencing right now? Because that would actually give you a lot of understanding of where the problem originated from. So influence is talking about making sure that you know who you need in your life, who you need in those blind spots that you can't see. Because you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I have a coach. My coach has a coach. And that's the way it works. You have to have people who you are accountable to, who can help you see those blind spots. Because when you're driving, you're facing forward, you can't see everything that is on the by side. So these are the people that will help you point to those blind spots and help you say, oh, madam, this is where you're going, remember, but there's a pothole here that you need to pay attention to, or there's a bump on the road that you need to pay attention to. And this is how can actually begin to work through those influences. Influence talks about installing those things that we need to get to where we are going.
All right, thank you, Amina. I was also going to say that this family meeting is a parenting partner to you, because all we do here is to give you the right information on how to prepare yourself. We also, when we started, I said it's a good place to be vulnerable. You can reach out to us. You can tell us your needs, and we are ready to help you. And I also remember saying that we are trying to create a village. That is parenting partner. So if you take the course, New Rules of Parenting, I don't know if Oluseyi has taken that course. If you take the course, New Rules of Parenting, we put you in a village where we discuss a lot of things. You go through challenges, we discuss different topics, we talk about a lot of things, and we allow people to be vulnerable in that, on the group. We have people come to drop their challenges, and we have people bring, and so when you get feedback from people, maybe just like you said, you are in a blind spot, other people are seeing what you are not seeing. By the time people come in to give you different ideas from their own perspective, and mind you, positive ones, not just somebody trying to project his or her pain like we see on social media. People come, and then we have a coach that coaches us through for 21 days. When you join that group, you will experience and enjoy that parenting partner. And the essence of the family meeting, if you pay attention to all we have been talking about, is that you can have your own different groups. You can have your own community, saying that you and a group of friends, 10 of you, you want to be together. This is what you want to do. This is the culture you want to imbibe into your own village. That starts creating your own village. And some of you that have done the New Rules of Parenting, that's why we're encouraging you to tell your friends about this course, so that they can also take the course, they can take the training, and you are exposed to the same information, because these are the people your children relate with. You don't want to be teaching them something and they are taking in something different from outside. By the time you bring your friends and other family members into this group, you're able to get the right information. You're able to know your boundaries. You're able to understand your boundaries. You're able to know what your children are going through and how to, so you're not ashamed. You're vulnerable to one another. You're able to share your secrets. Like the 22-year-old, I'm telling you now, the woman is just so, at some point, they had a family friend that was telling them what to do at some point, but she was not paying attention. She just believed prayer. Prayer will do it. Like Ebuka said, if you're praying and you're not acting, you're also giving these children wrong feedback, because they will keep asking the question, so why are you praying about this thing? And they will be laughing at you. They will be laughing, and they would not want to even listen to you. And this is the essence of the family meeting, where we can come together. And that's why I will always say that, please ask your questions. What do you have to say? Feel free, please. Let's be vulnerable. This is a safe place. This is a safe place, and we need to take advantage of it. Remember, I said it. It is so cheap to prevent something than to allow it to happen and you want to respond to it. So let's embrace this opportunity that we're having. Maybe a time will come that I will just say, family meeting, you have to pay $10,000 before you join my meeting. Very soon. So
Yes,
don't let us take this for granted. And we bring in resource persons that are skillful, that are experiencing, that have gone through these experiences with these children. And you should take advantage of this. And with this, do we have questions? I want to see in the chat box how this meeting has added to you. I want us to say thank you to Amina, thank you to Ebuka. If you believe they have been able to answer your questions, I want you to celebrate them. Yes, I'm trying to look into the chat box to see. Okay, so they have dropped the link. I dropped it earlier, and the link to register for the new rules of parenting. It starts in October, so you have time to contribute, to save towards it. And if you can pay between now and the next 2 weeks, then we can give you a discount. Remember, you can reach us through the email address. And Tolani, could you please drop your phone number so that people can reach you on it? You can register. We can give you a discount if you register ahead. I know there's something like that. The class itself is 100,000. It used to be 70,000 and it has increased. And it means it is increasing gradually. But for October, it is 100K and we can still give you a discount. So please, Tolani, could you please drop your phone number or any contact that they can reach? So for next month, we are talking about
there's a
headmaster.
question in the box.
Okay.
There's someone asked a question about how do you help a teenager who doesn't know a career path to follow. So for me, it's that what's making the child confused right now, and what exposure has that child gotten so far in terms of other skills? Like, okay, you know, while we were growing up, there were four major spaces that you could say that the careers were the guy. You talked about accounting, you talked about being a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher, or things like that. But now there are so many careers that even I am just like amazed about how flexible the future of our children are going to be. And the more we expose them to so many of these skills, the better they can make choices for themselves. And what you should understand as a parent is that your child isn't limited to one career path. There are amazing, amazing opportunities for them to be more entrepreneurs, for them to do so many things. He or she can become, I've seen the video of a doctor, of a surgeon turned a mechanical engineer. I have a very good friend who is also a medical doctor, but now a business consultant for so many people. So, you know, if you begin with the fact that the opportunities out there is limitless, positive opportunities are limitless, and then begin to help them expose them to baking, expose them to mechanical things, expose them to space fairs, expose them to coding and robotics and things like that. Eventually and then the most ultimate part, I think one of the things that we as parents should bring back into our children's life is that they have enough space to make their choices. Don't rush them. You rush them into school at the age of 3. You rush them into secondary school at the age of 10. Then you rush them into university at the age of 14. But why? Of course, they're going to be confused. So give them space to learn, to explore, to see the world, to travel, if you can afford it, to meet people, network, all those your own network dinners and everything. Make it one that you can also bring your teenager along. Let them meet people, let them meet mentors, let them meet coaches. And then they can begin to like, okay, you know what, mom? I think I want to be like this person. And find out about that person they want to be like, what their own struggles have been, and what their exposure has been. And that is how you actually begin to help your children decide on the career path to choose. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amina, for that response to that question. Thank you, Abiba Daniel. Abiba said that course changed my life. That's the new rules of parenting that she's recommending.
Yes, it changed mine because I also took the course, you know, and it was a really mind-blowing experience, especially the fact that until we unlearn our own habits, we can't install new ones for our children. So we have to unlearn, you know, all those cobwebs, things that, all those myths and things that our parents, you know, for their own part, they did the best they could, but now we can do better when we learn better.
Yeah, thank you. We can do better when we learn better. If you have also done the new rules of parenting, please, I want to see the comments so that it won't be as if we're just doing marketing. We are telling you something that can transform your life. And I also want to respond to that question of how do you help a teenager who does not know what career path to follow? So this is how I do, this is how I explain it. Every time, so when we go to school, okay, let me start this way. Everything we need for life is already inside us. Everything you need for life and godliness is already inside you. So what the teacher or what the school does is to water it. With being a science student, being a commercial student, being an art student and all, the potential is already inside. He said, before I formed you, I knew you. He already knows, God already knows who you're going to become. And so that skill, that talent is already inside you. And so what we do is fuel it. When they go to school, it is being fueled. And that is why everybody will not grow up to say, I love to be a science student. Everybody will not just say, I want to be a commercial student. That potential that is inside them is what is finding expression. And that is why the curriculum developers in those days, not the ones that we have now, that is why they were able to understand the developmental stages. That is why they are not bringing the separation in from primary school. They are not bringing the separation in until the child is 13. But right now, because we are always in a hurry, at 10, they are in GS3. There's a purpose for that developmental stages. And this is what we don't understand. We are so engrossed in competition of my daughter finished or enter university at the age of 14. By the time a child is 13, awareness is coming in. The child begins to see that, oh, I am science inclined. I am art inclined. And that is why the division up to, the division will not happen until they get to JS3, where they are mature enough and the mental and cognitive ability is ready to take. So it is not the teacher that taught your child to be a science student. No, that thing is already in that child. All the teacher did was to water it. And it is the result we now get at the end of JS3, where they now had to choose. And so one other problem we have is that parents want to enforce their own choice on the children. That's the projection, because you wanted to do medicine and you could not attain it. So your child, because your child, like I said when we started, human potential is limitless. Every child can do anything, but there's something that is the key one. So for a child that is smart, intelligent, and is endowed to be a lawyer, you want the child, because she's smart, she's intelligent, she's been having all A's. You want her to be a science student. She will be confused because that is not what she's saying. So we need to pay attention. We have to be intentional, because somebody is a doctor and you feel the best. That is why some of those people that read medicine end up giving their parents their certificates, because they don't want to do it. They come back to say, I did not want to do medicine, daddy, thank you. This is your certificate, because they studied it for you. I have seen a girl at 500 levels saying that, see, I don't want to do again. It wasn't as if she was failing in medical school, but she just discovered that this is not for me. This is not for me. And she just diverted into social sciences. I have also heard of somebody who at 100 level, at 200 level, she just felt, do I really want to do medicine? I think I want to do accounting. And she went into accounting. So parents, don't enforce. That's why we're saying you need to be intentional. You need to know your child and know the ability, know what the child is endowed to do. And that's why we confuse them. We confuse them so much. A lot of children are confused by the time they want to enter SS1 because mommy wants, I want to be an art student. Mommy wants me to do engineering. You know, that's where the confusion comes in. So you need to be intentional. And we can see that people have been talking about how they have learned a lot, during their class when we're taking new rules of parenting. Please, I want you to take advantage of this. Somebody is saying, I'm currently reading this with my daughter. Okay, I think that's a book, A to Z of Careers and Job. All right. My brother studied medicine and is now a musician. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine spending and wasting 6 years in medical school? Can you imagine that? So somebody, okay, that Dorcas is also saying that she did the parenting course. I learned there is intentional parenting. Beautiful comment here. So please, parents, I want you to take advantage of what we are giving you. We are families. Feel free to chat us up, to ask questions. Feel free to discuss your pains, and let's assist you. Like Amina said, it's possible you're in the blind spot and some other person is seeing it. Amina, your last word with us, why we call it a day. Thank you so much for those of you that have waited till the end.
Oh, well, I think it's just that understand that everything is possible with faith, and always lead with the love that you feel for these children. That's the most important part of the parenting journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy parents. Happy parenting journey, beautiful life, and have a beautiful rest of the day. I'm looking forward to your chats. I'm looking forward to everything, your comments and every other thing. But remember, new rules of parenting starts in October. You want to register. We have the singles class also coming up. I've already dropped if you can sponsor all those people that they think it is only the photo shoot, premarital photo shoot, that is the cocoa. You're already in it. You know what it is. You know what it means. Sponsor them. I want you to sponsor. So if you want to sponsor anybody, please chat Tolani up. Her phone number is there already. We'll give you a discount. We'll give you payment plan. That's your cousin. That's your nephew. That's your younger brother or younger sister that is fantasizing. There's more to it. There's so much to marriage. Like, you know, when you marry, you have to think of parenting, which is a major one. And this parenting talks about what's your future, what's your result or your outcome will be like by the time you are 80. And so we need to pay attention to all this. Thank you so much for joining once again. See you in September, where we'll be talking about creating your own village. So we're going to be discussing how to create your own village. You know, that's parenting partner. We're going to talk about that. See you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thank you, Amina. Amen. Thank you. Please always remember to invite your friends. These are the people that are influencing your children. And so we need to start bringing them so that they'll pay attention and hear the same thing you are listening to. Thank you.